Alright, what's up guys? If you're new to the channel, my name is Justice and this is Relatable. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. Become part of Relatable. If you like this video, if you like any of our videos, if you've liked any of our videos, go ahead and subscribe for us. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by June. So, if you've been on social media, you've heard of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have all the details again. This is like a really big hodgepodge of a mess. But basically, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard were married, right? They got divorced, things happen. In their divorce clause, they agreed, as famous people, that they can't do interviews or they can't publicly bash each other, given that it could be a defamation of character. So I think Amber Heard has done interviews, and she's put out after the divorce that Johnny was abusing her. Johnny Depp was abusing her. So that's like the beginning of all this mess. And then it only got worse from there. Him being dropped from certain companies, him being removed from movies and things of the sort. So Johnny is now suing her for defamation of character. I think for like 50 million or something like that. I don't even know if she has 50 million. Does she have 50 million? But either way, he's suing her because she said these things that people are now finding out to not be true. That's the crazy part. But
what did you say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny, tell them Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence"?
I said, yes, I am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
The case is tied in so heavily with Depp and Amber's career, and it means a lot for the future of not only the DCEU, but also several films surrounding it. Now, I have my own opinions on who's winning, but I'm going to try and keep them out of this as much as possible. I think in a video like this, it's important to keep my personal view to one side, as it can often cloud the analysis.
I'm going to give my opinion. You guys know that. And I don't know if you guys heard, but whoever loses will be in deep trouble. So, okay, I'm sorry. That was lame. I don't know. I tried to joke. Yeah. But we can all be honest, from what I've heard from social media and honestly just seeing clips of the trial, it seems like Heard's team is losing.
Anyway, like many people, I was very much on the side of Amber Heard when the accusations first came out. These were extremely serious things that she was lobbying against Depp, and the images of her bruises and so on definitely made it look like she was the sole victim in all of this. The Me Too movement then happened, and it felt like a very positive thing that was removing lots of predators and abusers from high-profile positions so that they couldn't do it anymore.
So the whole Me Too movement, like Bill Cosby, for example. So I know if you guys remember that case or trial, he was accused of drugging women, and this dude was accused for a few, and then it just felt like after he was in the business for many years, so it just felt like people kept on saying, "Oh, me too, oh, me too," and I think it got to an absurd amount of women. And I'm like, at some point, do we are you guys charging him with the few that you have evidence for? Or are you guys charging him for everyone who's saying me too, me too, me too? I don't want to discredit anybody's, feelings or discredit anybody's experience. But at the same time, without evidence, who's to say who's wrong, who's right? But in certain circumstances, men were at a disadvantage. If a woman says, "Oh, he hit me," we're basically the oppressor or whatever, and they're the victim until they find out that, oh, she was lying. like women can't lie. Men are the only people that can be aggressive in a relationship or in a situation. And it's kind of sad, but women-man relationships, traditionally men have been seen as the aggressor and as the dominant, figure or whatever in a relationship. So it's not too far-fetched that if a woman says, "Oh, he beat me," then, people are going to take her side initially without any evidence. Women lie, men lie. Women lie, men lie.
And there was very much a pile-on the internet to the point it became difficult for the guy to make a public appearance without being called a wife-beater. However, over time there started to be people going to his defense, including high-profile celebrities and his loyalist supporters. Lots of evidence came to the forefront that seemed to debunk all of Heard's claims, and over time, things have kind of swung in the favour of Johnny, with it seeming less and less likely that he was the only person at fault. Now, Depp and Heard had a face-off in court in the UK, and he ended up losing it, which pretty much meant he had to be ousted from Fantastic Beasts. Though there was lots of evidence that he supplied showing Heard was in fact the abusive one, this verdict very much meant that Warner Brothers had to let go of Depp from one of their flagship franchises. Now, Heard managed to keep her role in Aquaman, even with all the photos of bruises, Depp's injuries, and the recordings. Now that kind of takes us to the current case. Things have done a complete 180 since the original statement by Heard, and it seems like everyone's on Depp's side.
And that's part of it too. It's seeming less and less like he was the person that fought. So it's not saying that, and I would disagree too, that he was never physically abusive with Amber. Like, again, they are the only two that know like all the truth. Like, no video camera, no audio. These are bits and pieces of a relationship that, you know, that became toxic. Like, they know the truth. They know every situation that they're being asked of. They know the truth for everything. So I find it hard to believe that he was never physically abusive with her or never verbally abusive with her at times, because it just seemed like a toxic marriage, and that's fine. But the fact that she feels like she can say, oh, he abused me, when you're the one starting fights. And from, you know, the few testimonies that I've heard defending Johnny Depp, apparently he's never, you know, tried that with his previous relationships. Like, he's not seen as a physically aggressive guy. So that obviously helps his case. And man, we're put in such a dangerous position when women do that, when they put their hands on us, or, you know, yeah, we're just put in a very uncomfortable situation, because it's like, as a person, as a human, you may fear for your life. Like, women can use, you know, knives, they can use guns, they can use, you know, their fists. So the fact that, you know, a woman can put her hands on a man, and a man is like, oh, should I can't hit her, she's a woman, like, okay, I fear for my life, like, do I hold her down? Oh, and then she'll, you know, claim that I hit her. Like, it's just a very uncomfortable situation. So don't put your hands on men, please. And men, if you ever find like that you're dating a woman that has put her hands on a man before, or that will put her hands on you, like, don't do it. It's not she doesn't care about your life at all if she's willing to put her hands on you, because she puts you in a very sensitive and uncomfortable situation.
There's lots of comments that I've seen asking why Depp has even come to court after the previous loss. I think when you look at what's happened, he has very little to lose. Depp has been branded a wife beater, and if he loses, he's still going to be called that. This is at least getting his side of the story out there, because it's rare that men are taken as seriously as women in domestic abuse cases. On the other side of this, if Amber loses, it not only destroys her career, but it potentially exposes her for what she really is. Now, during the statement by Depp and Heard's marriage counsellor, she said that Johnny didn't really have a voice in their sessions. Amber constantly talked over the top of him and would interrupt whenever he said something that wasn't going her way. This is very much reflected in Heard's legal team.
Objection. Calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one.
Don't ask the question if you don't want him to answer it. Number one, it just makes you guys look really unprofessional and really bad.
Like the marriage counsellor said, Johnny keeps getting interrupted, so her defense doing this makes it seem like Heard also did the same thing. Hell, it's even gotten so bad that Heard's lawyers are objecting their own questions.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
He said objection, hearsay, and then somebody like, well, you asked the question, and he was like, well, okay. Like, nigga, you gotta have some confidence as a lawyer. Like, where does she get these people? I could be a better lawyer than them, probably. I don't know the laws and stuff like that, but I know not to do that. That looks very bad. They're not even letting the man talk. Like, that itself seems very, like, they probably looked at this case and was like, yeah, if he tells the truth and he tells his side of the story, we're effed up. So they probably just not letting the nigga talk at all. Not letting him answer any of their questions that they're asking.
Really bad, and the other aspects that I think they're failing on is the fact they're going after drug abuse rather than domestic abuse. Throughout the trial, they've tried to expose that Johnny was addicted to drugs and also alcohol.
Like the fact that they're trying to make a case that, you know, he abused drugs, therefore he abused her while on drugs, or, you know, and those two, they're not connected. You know, you've seen people use drugs that aren't physically abusive, and I doubt that this guy, Johnny Depp, and again, I don't follow him heavy like that. I know he's a huge star. He does a lot of movies. He's involved in a lot of stuff. I doubt he can be addicted to drugs and interact with a lot of people, and no one has nothing bad to say about him. They haven't brought anyone in that's like, oh yeah, Johnny did this and he abused me. Oh yeah, Johnny did this and he was very mean. And like, I haven't seen a clip like a single second of someone talking negative about Johnny as far as like a witness. So I doubt that, he was only mean to her, or that he was, only aggressive on drugs with her or whatever, right? It's just very hard to believe, interacting with as many people as he's interacted with.
Being addicted to drugs doesn't mean that you're an abusive person, so they're going off on a certain path and trying to stop someone from giving their statement, whilst also interrupting the show. They have very little to actually give reason to why they're objecting.
That's actually a good point too. Like low-key, we always see Amber on the thing, speaking on the stage, speaking, but I haven't really seen Johnny speak too much or tell his side of the story too much in the clips that I've seen.
Several texts have been presented by Heard's team between Depp and Paul Bettany. They talk about burning her, doing stuff with her corpse, and it looks really bad. However, Depp explained that he has a dark sense of humour, and that these are direct quotes from Monty Python in a scene about burning a witch. It kinda strips Heard's team of them being the ammo that they initially thought it to be. And there's also the Milani makeup statement. Heard's evidence has been questioned highly since she made her statement about Johnny, and she's often regarded as making the whole thing up and faking attacks for sympathy. There are several instances where she's apparently been heavily battered, but the next day when she's appeared on TV, she's been absolutely fine. During a statement, her lawyer, they showed a Milani makeup palette that had apparently been in her purse for their entire relationship. They said it had been what she'd used to cover up her bruises, but Milani put out a post saying the kit wasn't available until they'd already broken up.
That's kind of tough. That's tough. They said, nah, whoever that company, Milani or whatever, they said, nah, don't put us in your stuff. We wasn't even out then. So there ain't no way you was carrying us the whole time y'all was married. That's tough. So it just seems like one lie after another lie after another lie. And it's all like, everything that they're saying, Amber Heard's team, from what I've heard, has been, not everything, but from, again, the pieces that I've heard has been debunked so far. It's like, no, that's not true because of this. Oh, no, that's not true because of this. And not one bad thing about Johnny or about his professionalism or about his, about him being abusive in previous relationships or, friendships or anything. So.
Now, the way that the trial ramped up was a very good strategy by Depp's team, and they brought in recordings where he talked about possibly taking his own life. This laid the groundwork for how Heard had pushed him to the brink, and it was absolutely devastating to hear. They then topped it up by playing audio clips of the argument between Depp and Heard.
Did you hear what I said?
I don't care. I don't care.
You do.
There's plenty of things you've done. Plenty of things you've fucking done. That were absolute fucking lies.
I didn't
I
ever.
didn't fuck with you about it. So anyway, don't leave it. So I'll see you in a bit. Yeah?
Is that what matters?
Your lies?
Is this what matters to you, your party?
Your lies,
I never lied to you. And what we're talking about tonight is what? Who are you?
That's really sad. I don't want to be biased because, again, I don't got all the information, like I said before, you guys. But at the end of the day, it's just sad that it had to come to this, because you could easily accept what your relationship was. You could easily accept, the ups and downs of your relationship, right? Things don't work out. Things can get toxic sometimes. And before you know it, you can be in this, very toxic environment where it's like, oh my gosh, if it seems like we're fighting all the time, it seems like we're just, we're better off leaving this. And you can just accept that. But some people have to go really low. It's just very sad. A man is always seen as the aggressor in situations like this. Domestic violence, sexual assault. Some men don't even feel the need or they don't feel comfortable claiming those types of things, because it's like, what? Is anyone going to believe me? Do we have to go down that road, number one? And then if we did, would anybody believe me? So the fact that she knew, yo, this is how the world is set up. They're going to believe me. I'm a woman. That's basically what she said. And I'm not just applying this to their situation. I'm applying this to any situation, any relationship out there where a man is being verbally abused, physically abused, and they just don't feel like they can speak up about it. That's not right. You have the right to defend yourself. And if you ever find yourself in a situation with a woman and she's being physically abusive, verbally abusive, and she brings it to a point where it's making you feel uncomfortable because you don't know how to respond, because this is, at the end of the day, this is a woman. And men, we're taught not to put our hands on women. So if it ever does get to that point, in a relationship for you guys, it's probably best to leave. It's a very dangerous situation for yourself.
This then went into Depp confronting Heard and trying to work with her to confront the media.
Maybe we just gotta stop this. Just gotta stop it.
I don't know how to get my reputation back.
We write a letter together saying that we're gonna take this out of the public eye, saying that we're gonna try and work this out on our own, that we love each other,
Yep.
and that we wanna make sure each other is okay. We gotta deal with that
I don't have
anger.
any way of my credit is my credibility. You know what?
And why did you put that out there?
I did not. You forced me. Your team forced me to by going on the offense.
At this point, it ramped up to what is very much going to be remembered as the quote that I think will be what people take from this trial.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
I know it's a fair fight.
Yep.
See how many people believe or side with you.
This then got asked as the final question.
And what did you say in response when Miss Heard said, tell the world, Johnny, tell them Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence?
I said yes. I am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
That is the end of that video. And the part where he said it's more balanced, I think that's the key word here. If you're starting the physical altercations, that's the part where I feel like that's the part where you lose credibility. Because it's like, okay, if you were physically, abusive with him and you were like fighting him or whatever in response to him being physically, abusive with you, then fine. But it seemed like she was the aggressor, and it seemed like, at times, most of the time, that he didn't respond and he never put his hands on her. And he has witnesses that backed up his personality. Like, I'm not a physical guy. Like, I would never hit a woman. I've never been physical with anyone. And again, I just want to say that I don't want this to just apply, again, to just this situation. This applies to any situation where there's double standards for, two different types of people. And one person feels like they have the upper hand just because, they're of a certain gender, of a certain race, of a certain job, right? We have to understand that until a person is proven to be guilty, they're innocent. In America, and probably worldwide, it's quite the opposite. You're guilty until proven innocent. So before you assume that a person is a certain person, have the evidence. Thank you guys again for staying to the end of the video. Again, subscribe. We talk about a lot of different things here, not just music videos or funny videos, but we talk about serious topics. And honestly, the serious topics are the ones that I really, really enjoy, because there's just some certain things that we got to talk about, you guys.
When I
Subscribe.